Okay, welcome to this lesson where I'm going to talk through how to make your own tinctures. It's a very simple process if you follow a few of these steps. We're going to make 3 tinctures. We have wormwood, chamomile and gentian. And we have 2 equal amounts of vodka here and a smaller amount here. So basically we need the dry ingredient, or the herb, and vodka. In Ireland you can only get 40% volume vodka, so we don't dilute our vodka because the rest, the 60%, is more or less water. In the United States and some other countries you can get 90% volume of vodka, alcohol, and pure alcohol, and in that case it's often diluted 40-50% to bring it down. So we're basically working off the 40% volume, no dilution, no adding, no more water. So we have enough in that. Herbs have different volume per weight. This is 100 grams of wormwood, so we're going to do the ratio of 5:1. So 5 parts liquid vodka to 1 part herb wormwood, 5:1. So we have 500 mils vodka to this amount. Here, more or less to the same volume, is, well, it's less actually, sorry, it's 50 grams of chamomile because it's quite voluminous. So we're going to put 250 mils of vodka with that. That's a ratio of 5:1. And with the gentian, it's heavier but less voluminous, is 100 grams of gentian, 500 mils of vodka. So it's the 5:1 ratio. Before we put this into the bag, I ground it with the coffee grinder to give it more surface area for the tincture to work. When we make our tincture, these tinctures have been sitting in these containers for about 3 weeks, and I've been shaking them every day, and I will show you the process later how we strain them. There's 2 ways to strain them: easy way with a sieve or with a press. I'm going to use a press. We're going to start now and start with our first. We'll start with wormwood. So we have our container here. Mason jars are best. I have different sizes and types. I've measured this into the bag just to make it easy for you to follow. So we just basically, a tincture is a alcohol extract. So I have 500 mils of alcohol here, vodka. I'll just pour that in there. That's 5 parts liquid to 1 part herb. Give that, you can see that they're breaking up. Give that a good shake. So that's our, see if we can take the little, so that's our wormwood. That'll sit for 2 to 3 weeks and we'll be able to strain off and have our tincture of wormwood. So next we have our chamomile, 250 mils going into 50 grams. So this is half the volume, and then we're going to use half the liquid, but it's still going to be so we have 250 mils of vodka here. I would probably add a little bit more liquid to these later because you can see that it's absorbed the liquid because it's quite a dry herb. So using the folk method, common sense applies. We're going to add another little bit of liquid until it just covers. It's about another 150 mils until it covers the top of our tincture. There's more liquid there, so I'm going to break up. So that's our chamomile. And finally we're going to make our gentian. So we have 100 grams of gentian here. This is the root. The other parts are the other two, the wormwood and the chamomile, are aerial parts. So roots are great for making tinctures as well. We'll take our label, put it on there. Keep our table nice and clean. And we have another 500 mils of so there's a lot more space in this because it's dense, a lot more dense. So that's our gentian. So you can see there with the chamomile, it's quite dense, and the wormwood as well. I think I'm going to add an additional splash of vodka, so I'm probably doing about 6 parts to 1. Five parts to 1 is the recommended formulation. I like to have my tinctures when I'm making them quite liquidy, and I might even add a bit more to that later, we'll see. So that's our 3 tinctures. We let them settle for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then we strain off the liquid and bottle it. So this is a brand new fruit press that I've never used, so this is going to help me get more value out of my tinctures. So this is the kind of a nut bag. First we're going to strain off as much of this as possible. So there's our lovely gentian. Looking forward to tasting this. So we'll put our gentian into this jar. We'll put this into amber bottles a little bit later, and we'll secure that. And now we will proceed with the experiment that could be a disaster. Who knows? So we have that in there, and that in there. Put that there, and we'll squeeze this out. This is the fancy way of doing it, but you don't have to do this. You can use a potato masher that squeezes it out, or you can use just a sieve and get the best you can out of it. Okay. There we have it. Let's squeeze a bit more. Squeeze a bit more and then pour. Okay, so we're getting some goodness there that we would have lost otherwise if you didn't have some sort of system for squeezing it out. That worked okay, and now we have an extra 10-15 mils, but it's going to be the strongest. So we'll put that in there. We really get a nice mixture out of that. And there's our gentian tincture, which we will use in making our own bitter tonics. So this is our wormwood. Beautiful. Just perfect sized jar. So that's our wormwood tincture, which we will bottle also. We put that behind that one so we know which one to label. And finally we have our chamomile chamomile. Now this, as I said, is, oops, that really jumped out there. So you can see the volume is there, but you get the strong tincture underneath. And we will put this in here. Yeah, I mean, you probably get away with doing this by hand because it's a soft material. But since we have our gadget out, we will give it a squeeze. So we're getting a good 50 to 60 mils extra. On that extra, you would think is the goodness, the best part, I suppose. Certainly it could be said that it is the strongest part, and we're getting a bit more. So you're really enriching your tincture by going to this length, having some sort of system to squeeze out your herbs. Because often when I didn't have this gadget in the past, I would have lost a degree of tincture. So finally we will put this little jar to use, lovely old medicinal jar. So that's our chamomile tincture. Our wormwood and our gentian tinctures. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and that you will begin to experiment making tinctures. They're one of the easiest medicines to make. They are versatile, easy to store. They can last up to a year longer. And once you begin to learn how to make a basic tincture, you can then begin to formulate adding tinctures together. As I said, we're not going to mix bitters with strong bitters. These are our leading bitters that will be used for other formulas. See you in the next lesson.